The province is launching a pilot project in a number of high schools across Ontario. They will be giving out take-home COVID-19 test kits to students and staff exposed to COVID-19. But is it a big enough move to create safer schools? An infectious disease specialist we spoke with says likely not.
I think there's other important questions as well that are not addressed by this.
The 8-week pilot program is set to begin on September 7th. The province says students and staff who are vaccinated and asymptomatic will receive a take-home self-collection kit when they have been identified as a high-risk contact as part of an identified cohort or outbreak. Students aren't required to disclose their vaccination status in order to take part in the pilot, and participation is voluntary. It will target 13 public health units and over 40 school boards, including Peel, York, and Durham region. Factors such as location, enrollment size, proximity to local testing centers were considered.
We hear about ventilation, we hear about mask wearing, we hear about vaccinating eligible people, we hear about testing and screening, we hear about cohorts, we hear about smaller class sizes. Like there's lots of different layers that you can take to A, protect schools, and B, have a better understanding of what's happening underneath that roof. This will help us have a bit of a better understanding about what's going on underneath that roof. It doesn't address all the questions.
We reached out to the Minister of Education, who released this statement to CityNews, which reads in part, "Following the advice of Ontario's Chief Medical Officer of Health, our government is making more low-barrier testing options available, including take-home tests for many high school students, part of our plan to reduce absenteeism and keep kids learning in class." While infectious disease specialist Dr. Isaac Bogosh thinks this isn't a big enough move to make a significant impact, he says we may gain some knowledge.
One of the big questions is how much COVID transmission is there in schools. We know, of course, there's some. This might help gain some more information as to COVID transmission or COVID introduction into schools from otherwise healthy, vaccinated people.
Principals will hand out kits to students in exposed classes or cohorts with access to how-to videos online. The project may be expanded throughout the school year based on uptake and demand. Schools will also be the drop-off locations for these tests. As for school boards in Toronto and Ottawa, the province says they aren't included in the pilot to avoid duplicating services that are already being made available in those regions.